Hey everybody, Steve here, SafeArmsReview, doing an update video on what's going on. The down and dirty. I'm getting ready to pack up the computer because we are moving. Okay, we're selling this house, closing, going to be done with this place. It's going to be sad to go, but it was a foreclosure. We did a lot of work and we were able to sell it even in this market for a decent price, and it was only on the market for 2 weeks. We're moving to a smaller town, a nicer town. Closer to work, and it's kind of away from the bigger cities, so we're really looking forward to that. So I'm going to be out of the loop for a while. I can't move into the final house that we're going to get because it needs some repairs, and we just can't close on the same day for both houses, so we have to rent a place, and I'm probably only going to be in that place for maybe a month at the most, and so I'm probably not going to have internet access. So this will be the last video that I'll do until we get to the final house, as far as I know. With that said, if you have not read H.R. 45, and if you have not read H.R. 1388, you need to do so now. I don't care if you're a Christian, I don't care if you're an atheist or whatever you believe, you need to read those bills and ask yourself, are those bills denying anyone their rights as a U.S. citizen? The right to free speech, the right to petition, the right to peacefully assemble, the right to file grievances, freedom of religion, or the freedom to not believe in a religion if you want. It's not good at all. Let me say this. There was somebody who was making some comments as far as H.R. 1388, and that's the GIVE Act, the mandatory volunteerism invigorating BS from Obama, saying that it's a good thing and that participants can't protest, they can't file grievances, they can't be engaged in any type of religious instruction or participation in worship services. So basically, the act is telling you that if you're a participant, in other words, if you attend this volunteer boot camp brown shirt thing that Obama has, that your rights as an American citizen, that you have to lay those down. In other words, that you cannot receive federal funds or anything if you go into these and participate in these prohibited activities. Now, somebody brought up and said, well, that's just for the people who are participating. No, that's not. The word participate includes those companies, businesses, 501c3 nonprofit organizations. That's what's covered. Otherwise, it would use the word attendee, because what happens is the government, here it is, the government makes a program and it says, okay, it's under the GIVE Act and it's headed under this organization or nonprofit or government entity. Then what that government entity will do will subcontract out the things that need to be done to fulfill the requirements of this GIVE Act and this mandatory volunteerism, which is BS. I can't put it any other way. So any company that is contracted to support or provide information or services to this GIVE Act, or teaching or training or materials or anything, has to abide by the rules of the GIVE Act. And if you look in section 1034, the prohibited actions or activities, it tramples all over the rights of American citizens. So whether you are a participant, as you are a child receiving this instruction, brainwashing, to this collective socialist, fascist monster, to, I don't know, I mean, to get away from the Republic and the standards and the principles of the Constitution, you know, you can't do certain things. You can't worship, you can't participate in religious instruction or receive religious instruction. And if you're a company, I mean, it's just bad business all around. And it's already been passed by Congress. So that means that Democrats and Republicans have already passed it. Enough have passed it. So, I mean, that's on the verge of treason, because you're stripping away the rights of a U.S. citizen. It doesn't matter if it's a man, woman, or child, that if you deny the rights of a U.S. citizen, the right to a petition, speech, press, all the stuff that I mentioned, it is bad, bad news. And again, the right to bear arms, H.R. 45, read up on that. That is terrible. It's not good at all. Talking about ammunition. I've been trying to get ammunition. Gun stores around are starting to ration ammunition because it's in such high demand and the supply is so low that their gun stores are rationing out ammunition, which is a good thing because it gives everybody a little bit. But again, that's crazy. You know, that should not be happening. If you're planning on purchasing a weapon, you might want to do it now because supply and demand is unreal. It's better, like I say, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And if you get a firearm, get trained by a qualified instructor, somebody who's safe, so you can safely operate that weapon within the bounds of the law. Food storage, let me check on that. Hits a bunch of sites. The sites I have ordered food from before are out of stock, temporarily back ordered, called them, you can't get it. The year-long food supplies for long-term food stores, dehydrated or freeze-dried or whatever, the places that I've gone to before they're back ordered and they can't say when they're going to be able to fill those orders, if at all. Silver is still in high demand. Can't buy gold because I'm not rich. But silver is to the point of where you have places like Northwest Territorial Mint that produces silver rounds and things like that, that they're back ordered. And they actually, if you order from them, they'll say, hey, here's the deal. We might not be able to fill it. And if we can't, we're going to send you your money back. So silver is in high demand. More people are transferring their wealth to precious metals because the stock market is terrible. The banks are terrible. AIG, the bailouts, is not good at all. Let me run into this real quick. People think that the government, I mean, this is the big thing that Obama has, that, oh, we're going to buy up all the bad assets and all of a sudden magically, poof, everything's going to be great. No, it doesn't work that way. If John has a house, here's John's house. John has a $100,000 mortgage, and because of the artificial inflation and the housing bubble that burst, his house is now only worth $65,000. So he is upside down on his mortgage. It goes into foreclosure. The house now goes to the bank. The bank still has to pay that mortgage. It's a bad asset. It's in the red. It's bleeding like a stuck pig. So it is against the books. It's an expense to the bank until somebody pays that off. Well, here's the deal. Here's the government and Obama saying, oh, we need to borrow trillions of dollars from taxpayers, you and me, to buy this bad asset. So now it's on the government hands. But you know what? That doesn't end the commitment to pay off that mortgage. They just transferred it. Now the government owns a bleeding asset. And guess what? It has to continue paying that bad asset off. Do you get it? The government doesn't make money. It takes money from you and me to pay for this bad asset. It's not off the books. It's not erased. It's still there. Now, to pay all these bad assets, where's the government going to get their money? Bingo, from you and me, the taxpayer. And it's bad enough that we can't pay off our national debt now, that now our children and our grandchildren, it is a physical impossibility to be able to pay off the national debt, which is somewhere around $57 trillion. And Obama's only been in office 3 months. And it's going to get worse. Watch your rights, watch your money, contact your senators, your congressmen, whatever you need to do. And here's my suggestion. If you don't have a long-term water supply, you need to do it now. If you don't have a long-term food supply, do it now. You need to go to the dollar store, you need to go to Walmart, whatever it is that you can get to stock up. Even if it's just for a little bit and you can't afford much, get a little bit of what you can now, because it's not going to look good. I bet we're going to see the Treasury market's going to go down, inflate, and they're going to try to keep the economy where it is, stabilize it so the crash doesn't happen. And I hope it doesn't. But if it does, we're going to see hyperinflation. We're going to see prices going up through the roof. We're going to see continued unemployment. The welfare system that our government has and in individual states is going to be busting at the seams. It could get worse. And so that's why I say get a long-term water supply, emergency stores of food, guns and ammunition. You can't go wrong because, you know, worst thing that can happen, hey, you go out shooting and camping and have a great time with all the food that you got. If it gets to the point of where it gets really, really bad, it's better to have it or not need it than need it and not have it. So get your stuff squared away. If you're a believer, if you're a Christian, now's the time where you need to make a choice of whether you're going to follow the government and what it says that you can't worship, that you can't religiously teach your children and teach a child in the way it should go, or you're going to follow God and His Word. There's a time. It's the separation of the sheep and the goats, and it's going to get serious. For those of you on my other channel, Hetgow, I'm going to post this video there too, and it's going to be a while before I come back. So I just pray that you follow God, you follow Jesus Christ in His Word, and that stay true. Keep your integrity. Follow the truth, and the truth will set you free. And if you haven't done so, you need to seek God. And if you know in your heart and it makes you feel bad that you've offended Him, you need to get on your knees and pray for His forgiveness, because Jesus is the only way. He's the way, the truth, and the life.